Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to have with me again, David Klebanov of Alkira. Thank you, David, for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Doug, for having me again.
So as you can see, everybody, from the crawl, Alkira launches MCP Server and NIA Copilot. We're going to dive into these announcements. They're really interesting. Lots of interesting opportunities and ideas here for everybody. But first, what is Alkira?
Yeah, let me give you, a minute of what it is. So we are a network infrastructure as a service company. So we are basically providers of connectivity that operates global infrastructure that resides 100% in software, 100% inside the cloud. And we work with many organizations of different sizes, different verticals, different industries, right? A lot of them are from the Fortune 500 and even more lucrative positions in the Fortune 500, in solving connectivity and security problems for these customers in a very elegant way using, simple point and click user interface. So driving down complexity, driving down cost, gaining a lot of agility and efficiency, and that's who we are.
Well, in light of that, then we have these two announcements today, and we're going to walk through them. You have launched an MCP server. Let's start there. So first of all, what is MCP for people who may not understand that concept or understand it wrong, like me?
Right. It is a new concept, so no wonder it generates a lot of curiosity, right? So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It was actually something that was created by a company called Anthropic. And the idea behind MCP was to standardize access from AI applications and LLM models into the tool sets that are available, so these AI engines can have access to additional sources of information that can be incorporated into the AI logic of how they operate. So the idea before MCP is that the access to these tools was not standardized. So if you wanted to extract information from emails, if you wanted to extract information from Slack messages or something from the database, or if your response included things like information about the weather in a specific part of the world, right? So all of these sources of information, you have to write separate types of queries, separate types of sort of requests for each one of those information sources in order to get the data back to the AI engine to process it and make the AI operation more intelligent. What MCP did is MCP standardized that layer, and now instead of just having different ways of accessing this information, there is one single uniform way by using the Model Context Protocol to access that data and basically bring it into the AI intelligence.
Now, you actually have with you a little visual to show you what this MCP launch server is, or the server launch
Yes.
is. Yeah, so let me bring that up.
Yes. So let me walk you in a few sentences here what you are seeing. So on the bottom, you can see the Alkira's infrastructure. That is our existing offering. This is our global infrastructure where we are connecting users and branches and data centers, cloud workloads, business partners, and whatnot through the Alkira's infrastructure that provides connectivity and security services. Right now, if you now consider the world of AI in a form of AI agents or large language models, how those access information that is residing within external tools. Right, so you can see on the left side, you can see things like files and database and emails, and then you can see the Alkira on the bottom. So if the AI developer writes an application that needs access, needs telemetry, needs information from the infrastructure, this is where MCP server comes very handy. Is that by standardizing the communication between the MCP client, which is what the AI application is, and the MCP server, now we have this standardized pipe where the application developer can extract that data from that telemetry from the network and make use of that telemetry to make different AI related decisions. It could be an automated decisions of how to act based on specific triggers. It could be things that are operationally like monitoring things. It could be configuring certain things. So this is kind of a communication bus, like a highway, communication highway between the AI application and the world of infrastructure. And all of that is accessible through the MCP server that we have developed and made publicly available. And that is what you see on this diagram as far as MCP is concerned.
Now, why is this a big step forward?
So the big step is really the idea behind MCP is now another tool in a set of programmability tools that existed within the infrastructure space. So specifically, if you look at Alkira, what we supported up until MCP support, we supported REST APIs, which is like a standardized way of communicating with different infrastructure elements. So REST API. We also supported Terraform. So Terraform, we were a Terraform provider. So a lot of our customers used Terraform in order to drive automation within the network. And the reason Terraform was very popular is because Terraform is also used in the world of cloud. So these DevOps teams or operations teams that were creating these automated pipelines, they were using Terraform in order to automate different tasks inside the cloud. And now by supporting Terraform on Alkira, we allowed them to what's called a single CI/CD pipeline, which is a continuous integration, continuous development. So the CI/CD pipelines is an automated workflow that allowed them to not only automate the cloud side of things, but also automate the infrastructure. And Terraform was a great fit for that. So now enter the world of AI. And in a world of AI, the rules are a little bit different. And in the world of AI, this is where MCP became important once the protocol was created and a standardization was created. So now we have an ability to do REST APIs, we have an ability to do Terraform, and we have an ability to do MCP for these more AI and AI agentic environments. And the developers and the DevOps people, they have now the flexibility to choose the automation tool that is appropriate for the task that they're trying to achieve. They want to do REST APIs, great. They want to do Terraform and single CI/CD pipeline with the cloud, great. They want to do AI and AI agentic environment and use MCP, great. It's just more flexibility for the automation workflows to work.
Now, at the same time, you also had an announcement with regard to NIA, but we should probably explain what NIA is first.
Right. Yes. So NIA is a little bit
uninitiated like me.
Yes. So NIA is a little bit easier to understand, but because it is a little bit more traditional approach. So NIA stands for a Network Infrastructure Assistant, right? So what it is a co-pilot for the administrator, for the network administrator who is logged in within the Alkira portal, and now they are in a role of operator, right? There may be configuring things, there may be troubleshooting things, there may be monitoring some things. And of course, they can use the interface to do that. But now going, with AI notion, right? And the ideas is that I can use tools similar to ChatGPT that I can now start and basically conversing using natural human language. So this idea now is also implemented within the Alkira world, where this network engineer can use this natural language, human language, where they can use this NIA as a co-pilot in order to converse with the network and ask things of the network, request certain information from the network, push certain information into the network in the form of configuration. So these are kind of another way for the administrator to perform their administrative tasks using a language versus going and clicking on the interface and making selections and whatnot. So the concept of MCP and the concept of NIA, these are complementary concepts. As you can see back on this diagram, we talked about the MCP server, but now you can see on kind of the middle of that diagram, middle right of the diagram, you see the network infrastructure assistant, which is built in within the Alkira portal. So it's just that if you think about who uses each one of those functions, you can see that there's different uses for it. The one that we talked about, MCP, this is really belongs to the world of AI applications, agentic AI, and this is where the application developers have access to this infrastructure intelligence. In case of the network infrastructure assistant, or NIA, you can see this is the network engineer who is operating the Alkira portal and uses that natural language processing in order to communicate with the network from inside the Alkira portal. So the bottom line is that both might achieve the same results. It's just they're being consumed by different personas and in a different methods of connectivity. MCP, which is externally facing, versus NIA, which is built in and integrated into our portal.
Now, I understand we actually have a demo that you brought with today, I think.
Yes, I can show you a very quick demo here, and that would be the demo of MCP, right? So let me bring up, and it's a very simple environment, right? So it's not something that is very complicated. Of course, people can reach out to us if they wanted to get a little bit more more detailed view of that. So let me bring up a Claude desktop, right, which is an application. In fact, Claude was created also by Anthropic, right? This is their product, right? So it's the same company that gave birth to MCP. And as you can see here, I have this Claude desktop that was downloaded, and it's been configured to have access to Alkira MCP server. Alkira MCP server is public. It can be accessed on GitHub. It can be downloaded on GitHub. So anybody can access and basically make use of Alkira MCP server. Of course, it's only useful for the environments that make use of the Alkira as the networking and security solution, right? So as you can see, this is very much, chat-like interface where I can now start conversing with my network by just running simple queries. So for example, I can say, show my network, of course, would make sense not to make mistakes, summary, right? And then by issuing the query, it now goes and contacts through MCP and retrieves that information from the Alkira infrastructure. And it kind of goes through this motion of building out the response and gives back all these elements that are relevant, of course, to that particular deployment. And I can ask all kind of questions. I can ask questions about the infrastructure summary. I can ask questions about routing. I can ask questions about connectors and all kind of monitoring and operational things. So in essence, I can have this what's called a natural language processing, human language to communicate and converse with my network.
Very interesting. It seems like it's straightforward. It's relatively user-friendly.
Yes, it is very straightforward. It's basically, it's like ChatGPT. It's not ChatGPT this time. It's Claude desktop, but it's almost like a ChatGPT type of experience where you can have a two-way conversation with the network and converse, ask questions, get responses back, pull and push type of things. That is a very different operating model from how the traditional things were done. And if you compare that to how it would be done, for example, with Terraform, right, which was another automation mechanism that we talked about. So Terraform, of course, would not work in such fashion because Terraform would require some programming skills. In this case, you can see a network engineer that has no programming skills and yet wants to operate the Alkira network in this sort of like very conversational way, can literally use the AI intelligence of natural language processing and make all of this work. So it's a very fundamentally different way of how these network engineers interface to the infrastructure, and also how the application developers that want to make use of this information potentially within the world of AI can do that without coding skills of understanding how Terraforms and REST API works.
So, David, as we wrap up our podcast, is this a great opportunity for the MSP and channel partner community?
That's a great question, Doug. Channel and partners is extremely dear to our heart. We are 100% channel company, so that's how we grow our business. This is how we go to market, and so it's very important for us. And I think Alkira in general, besides the MSP and NIA that we've discussed today, but Alkira in general provides a tremendous opportunity for the partners to get inserted into this network modernization project and provide greater value that traditionally existed. Particularly with MCP and NIA, this is certainly an opportunity for additional value-added services that can be provided by our partners, the ones who really wish to do that, to the enterprise community in order to augment the traditional services. The AI is obviously front and center for a lot of enterprises, and for our partners, having the competency in delivering these AI-friendly solutions is something which is extremely valuable to their business and their relationship with their customers.
And I think here we're actually seeing a pattern of this, of AI coming to the point where you can actually use it in the field. It does great things, and it is an economic opportunity. It's practical.
Absolutely. It's very real. And I know there's also a lot of doubt out there, right? As far as where AI is going. Is it a bubble? Is it not a bubble? Is it like the .com? So, I mean, time will tell where the industry is going, but there is definitely a strong promise in technologies that provide real value, right? There's, of course, things in AI that are maybe a little bit future looking and nobody really knows how it's going to pan out. But there's certain things that are providing immediate value. And what we discussed today, MCP and NIA, are one of those things that are providing immediate value, both directly to our enterprise customers and to the channel partners who are working with their customers to provide value-added services.
Well, David, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been really interesting. Thank you for your in-depth explanation of some of the terms and outlining it. I love live demos. It's always the best. And I hope everyone takes a look. Where can we learn more about this?
You can always go to alkira.com to learn more. You can follow us on LinkedIn and X. We're very active on those platforms as well. And we welcome people reaching out back to us to learn more about what we do.
Well, David, again, thank you very much indeed. I hope we get to do a follow-up podcast and see how this is going. Congratulations on your announcement.
It's a pleasure, Doug. Thank you so much for having me here.